The world held its breath. It was as if time itself had paused, waiting for something monumental to unfold. The air was thick with anticipation, a collective sense of wonder and unease spreading through the streets. It was a day like any other in the holy city, until it wasn't. The sun rose as it always did, casting its golden light over the ancient stones and bustling markets. The city was alive with the sounds of daily life, vendors calling out their wares, children laughing, the distant hum of traffic. The sun beat down on ancient stone, warming the walls that had stood for centuries. These stones had witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the ebb and flow of history. They had seen it all, or so it seemed. Tourists and locals alike went about their day. The markets were filled with the scent of spices and fresh produce, the sound of haggling and laughter. People explored the historical landmarks, marveling at the rich tapestry of history that Jerusalem offered. Then, everything changed. A pillar of blinding light pierced the sky above Jerusalem. It was unlike anything anyone had ever seen. The light was so intense, so pure, that it seemed to cut through the very fabric of reality. It was as if the heavens themselves had opened up, revealing a glimpse of something divine. The air crackled with energy. People shielded their eyes, squinting against the brilliance. The light was almost too much to bear, yet no one could look away. It was mesmerizing, captivating, and terrifying all at once. Whispers rippled through the crowds. People pointed towards the sky, their faces a mix of awe and confusion. What was happening? Was it a miracle, a sign, or something else entirely? The questions hung in the air, unanswered and unanswerable. This was no ordinary light show. This was a sign that something extraordinary was happening, something that would change the course of history. The light continued to shine, casting its ethereal glow over the city as if to say, "Look and remember this moment, for it is a moment that will be etched into the annals of time." Faces in the crowd reflected a spectrum of emotions: fear, wonder, hope, and disbelief. Some fell to their knees in prayer while others stood frozen, unable to comprehend the magnitude of what they were witnessing. It was a moment that transcended the ordinary, a moment that felt like a bridge between the earthly and the divine. From above, the city looked almost surreal, bathed in the unearthly light. Shadows stretched long and thin, as if trying to escape the brilliance. The light seemed to touch every corner of Jerusalem, leaving no place untouched by its presence. Historical landmarks, already steeped in significance, took on an even more mystical quality. The light seemed to breathe life into the stones, making them glow with an inner fire. It was as if the very soul of Jerusalem was being laid bare for all to see. In the age of technology, people instinctively reached for their phones, capturing photos and videos of the phenomenon. They wanted to document this incredible event, to share it with the world, to prove that they had been there, that they had seen the heavens open over Jerusalem. News reporters quickly arrived on the scene, broadcasting live to a global audience. People gathered around, watching the unfolding events on their screens, their faces lit by the glow of the light and the flicker of their devices. The world was watching, and Jerusalem was at the center of it all. Amidst the chaos, a child looked up in pure wonder, holding tightly to a parent's hand. To the child, this was a moment of magic, a story that would be told and retold for generations. It was a reminder that even in the most extraordinary of times, the simple human connections remained. Slowly, the light began to fade, leaving the city in a serene twilight. The air was still charged with energy, but the intensity had lessened. People began to stir, to move, to talk. The moment had passed, but its impact would linger long after the light had gone. As the light faded, a sense of unity filled the air. People hugged, some cried, others smiled. It was a moment that had brought them together, a shared experience that transcended differences and divisions. For a brief, shining moment, the people of Jerusalem were united in awe and wonder. Life in Jerusalem slowly returned to normal, but there was a lingering sense that something profound had occurred. The city had been touched by the extraordinary, and it would never be quite the same again. The heavens had opened over Jerusalem, and the world would remember. From the heart of the light, a figure began to descend. It was as if the heavens themselves had opened up, allowing this radiant being to step forth into the world below. The light was blinding yet mesmerizing, drawing the eyes of all who witnessed this celestial event. The figure seemed to float effortlessly, a beacon of hope and mystery. Wings, vast and feathered, unfolded, Each feather seemed to be crafted from pure light, shimmering with an ethereal glow. The wings stretched out wide, casting a shadow that seemed to dance with the light. They were not just wings, they were a symbol of freedom, power, and divinity. The sheer size and beauty of them left onlookers in awe, their hearts pounding with a mix of fear and admiration. They shimmered with iridescent colors, impossible to describe. Each movement caused a cascade of hues, from deep blues to vibrant golds, reflecting the spectrum of the rainbow. It was as if the wings were alive, breathing and pulsating with energy. The colors shifted and changed, creating a mesmerizing display that captivated everyone who saw it. It was a sight that would be etched into their memories forever. The figure was wreathed in golden light, features obscured by the brilliance. The light was so intense that it was impossible to make out any distinct features. It was as if the figure was made of pure energy, a being of light and power. The golden radiance was warm and inviting, yet it held an undeniable sense of authority and strength. It was clear that this was no ordinary being. This was a warrior of light, a celestial guardian. But there was no mistaking the power emanating from him. The air around him seemed to vibrate with energy, a palpable force that could be felt by all who were near. It was a power that commanded respect and reverence. This was a being of immense strength, a protector and a warrior. His presence alone was enough to inspire both fear and hope in the hearts of those who witnessed his descent. He moved with purpose, this being of pure light. Every step was deliberate, every movement filled with intent. There was a sense of urgency in his actions, as if he had a mission to fulfill. His movements were graceful yet powerful, a perfect blend of strength and elegance. It was clear that he was here for a reason, and nothing would stand in his way. He descended slowly, deliberately, towards the Temple Mount. This was a place of great significance, a sacred site that had stood the test of time. The very ground seemed to hum with energy as he approached, as if recognizing the importance of this moment. The Temple Mount had seen many events throughout history, but none quite like this. This was a moment that would be remembered for generations to come. The air thrummed with anticipation. It was as if the very atmosphere was alive, charged with the energy of this celestial event. People could feel the power in the air, a tangible force that sent shivers down their spines. There was a sense of expectation, a feeling that something monumental was about to happen. The world held its breath, waiting to see what would unfold. Fear mixed with awe on the faces turned upwards. The crowd was a sea of emotions, their faces reflecting the gravity of the moment. Some were filled with wonder, their eyes wide with amazement. Others were gripped by fear, their hearts pounding with uncertainty. It was a moment of profound significance, and everyone could feel it. The presence of the warrior of light had stirred something deep within them, a mix of hope and trepidation. Who was this celestial visitor? The question echoed in the minds of all who watched. Was he a savior, come to deliver them from darkness? Or was he a harbinger of something more ominous? The uncertainty only added to the tension, as people tried to make sense of what they were witnessing. This was a moment that defied explanation, a mystery that would take time to unravel. The world watched and waited. From every corner of the globe, eyes were fixed on this celestial event. It was a moment that transcended borders and cultures, uniting people in their shared sense of wonder and anticipation. The descent of the warrior of light was a spectacle that would be remembered for generations, a moment that would go down in history as one of the most extraordinary events ever witnessed. The world held its breath, waiting to see what would happen next. The whispers turned to shouts. The air was thick with anticipation, and the energy in the streets was palpable. People from all walks of life, merchants, scholars, and pilgrims, all paused in their daily routines, drawn together by a shared sense of wonder and trepidation. Michael, it's Michael the Archangel. The name spread like wildfire, igniting a mix of fear and hope in the hearts of those who heard it. Children clung to their parents and elders whispered prayers, their eyes fixed on the heavens. The name echoed through the streets of Jerusalem. It was as if the very stones of the ancient city were resonating with the sound, amplifying the collective gasp of its inhabitants. The city, with its rich tapestry of history and faith, seemed to come alive in a new, profound way. For Christians and Jews alike, the Archangel Michael held immense significance. He was a figure that transcended religious boundaries, a beacon of divine intervention and protection. His presence was a reminder of the celestial forces that watched over humanity, guiding and guarding them through the ages. He was the defender of God's people, the captain of the heavenly host. Throughout history, Michael had been depicted in countless works of art, always as a mighty warrior, a stalwart guardian against the forces of darkness. His image inspired courage and faith, a testament to the enduring power of divine justice. In the Bible, Michael leads the angels in the war against Satan. This epic battle, a cosmic struggle between good and evil, had been a source of inspiration and hope for generations. Michael's victory over Satan was not just a tale of triumph, but a promise of the ultimate victory of light over darkness. He is a symbol of courage, strength, and unwavering faith. In times of despair, people look to Michael as a source of inspiration, a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, faith and righteousness would prevail. His image, whether in a statue or a painting, was a rallying point for those seeking solace and strength. His appearance, if it was truly him, carried profound implications. The sight of a mysterious light in the sky, the whispers of his name, all suggested that something monumental was unfolding. It was a moment that transcended the ordinary, a glimpse into the divine. Was this a sign of a coming battle, a message of hope, or a warning? The questions hung in the air, heavy with uncertainty. The people of Jerusalem, and indeed the world, were left to ponder the meaning of this celestial event. Was it a harbinger of conflict, a divine call to arms, or was it a beacon of hope, a sign that help was on the way? The world held its breath, waiting for answers. In that moment of collective anticipation, time seemed to stand still. The prayers of the faithful, the hopes and fears of countless souls, all converged in a single silent plea for understanding. What would come next? Only time would tell, but for now, the world watched and waited, united in their quest for meaning and truth.